Welcome to DrupalBrief. This is an AI-generated summary of another video, podcast, or blog post. If you want to learn more about what's being discussed here, then please go check out the source. This podcast is sponsored by Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is an open-source, lightning-fast demo, development, and testing platform. It spins up Drupal sites in less than 5 seconds, complete with a browser-based VS Code. Want to try Drupal CMS, Drupal AI, Experience Builder? No need to install anything on your laptop. Drupal Forge has you covered. Even Composer, Drush, and AI keys are pre-installed so you can hit the ground running. Demo Drupal in less than 5 seconds only at Drupal Forge. Please take a second to click subscribe. We're a new podcast and this helps us a lot. Okay, that's it. Ready? Here we go.
Welcome, curious minds. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really interesting for anyone keeping tabs on web development. It's issue 694 of the WeeklyDrop, the popular Drupal newsletter edited by Bob Kepford. Now, for those of you maybe not familiar, the WeeklyDrop is basically your essential pulse check on the Drupal community. It gathers all the key news, links, insights, puts it right in your inbox every week. Think of it as, like, your shortcut to staying super informed without drowning in articles yourself.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. And our job today is to really unpack this specific issue. It's from August 7th, 2025. We're going beyond just, a summary. We want to pull out the most important bits of knowledge, the insights. And there are some pretty big updates in here, especially around, what's next for Drupal and its relationship with AI, artificial intelligence.
Right. So if you're trying to understand where content management is heading, or maybe get some practical tips, or just discover some maybe surprising things about the Drupal world, you're definitely in the right place. Okay, let's start digging into this issue. So the headline that really jumped out at me, and probably for a lot of Drupal folks, is the news that Drupal CMS 2.0 is expected around DrupalCon Europe. No, this isn't just changing a version number, is it? What's the real story here? Why is this such a big deal?
You're absolutely right. It's much more than a number. Gero Hatzi, he put out a short video on this. And what's really fascinating is how fast the platform isn't just evolving. It's like fundamentally rethinking its architecture. Mm-hmm. The key thing here is Drupal isn't just adding AI features. It seems it's being re-engineered to sort of natively integrate and use AI right from the core. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, Dries, Drupal's founder, he makes a really strong case for why Drupal is built for the AI era. He's saying its structured content approach makes it uniquely suited for AI, for content generation, personalization, automation, all that stuff.
So, okay, let's say I'm building a Drupal site or managing one. What does Drupal 2.0 actually mean for how I'd interact with it? Is it a totally different way of working, or more like getting some new smart tools?
That's the key question, isn't it? And it's definitely about new tools, yes, but the real shift feels more philosophical. Drupal 2.0 seems to be aiming to make AI capabilities just part of the whole content management experience.
Yeah.
So for you, the user, it could mean less time on manual stuff like tagging content or SEO tweaks, and more time on strategy maybe. Mm-hmm. With AI helping with the heavy lifting, like drafting content ideas, suggesting better structures. Mm-hmm. It's about making Drupal itself an intelligent system, from the ground up, not just relying on external tools you bolt on later.
Right. That sounds, pretty powerful. And building on that AI theme, the newsletter also points to some practical steps. There's an article summarizing key takeaways from the latest Drupal AI webinar. It focuses specifically on choosing the right AI tools for marketing. How does this actually help someone, wade through all the AI options for their Drupal marketing?
Right. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
Yeah.
The article gives actionable advice, how to pick AI tools that actually match your marketing goals within Drupal. It's not just about the shiniest new AI. It's about understanding your strategy, your pain points, and then finding AI for things like, say, SEO help, content generation, maybe even segmenting your audience. It tackles that question. How do you actually use AI in marketing effectively within Drupal?
And for anyone wanting to see it in action, there's that webinar mentioned by Amazy.io on their private Drupal AI provider. It's a from demo to launch walkthrough. They emphasize optimizing your site with AI tools, but with a privacy-first approach. And there's a 30-day free trial. That privacy-first bit really caught my eye. Why is that so important when you're mixing AI and content?
Oh, it's critical. Absolutely critical. Think about it. You're feeding your own data, your content, maybe user interactions, into an AI. So the questions become, who owns that data? Where does it live? How's it being used? A private AI provider basically ensures your sensitive info isn't, accidentally training public models or getting exposed. That gives businesses confidence. They need to know their competitive stuff and user trust are safe. That's huge, especially for bigger companies or anyone with sensitive data.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've covered the future, the AI tools, but for all this new stuff to work, the foundations of Drupal itself have to evolve too, right? What's happening kind of under the hood with core development.
Exactly. While we look at the shiny new features, the core team is busy modernizing the platform. We're seeing several core components being deprecated. And it's important to know what deprecation means here. It's not like it's gone tomorrow. It's a warning. It tells developers, hey, this part will be removed later, start using the new way. It gives everyone time to adapt to the newer, usually better methods.
I see some technical notes here like magically named cancel functions in Views UI forms have been deprecated. That sounds specific. What's the real impact of these kinds of changes? Why should someone who isn't a core developer care?
That's a fair question. They might sound obscure, but they're really important for the platform's health and how fast it can improve. Take the deprecation of node access viewable nodes or the ban module. The ban module, for example, is a pretty basic way to block IPs. Deprecating it doesn't mean less security. It signals a shift toward more modern security, often handled better at the server or CDN level anyway. Makes your site potentially more secure and performant. And those magically named functions. Deprecating them is about cleaning up old code, making Drupal leaner, faster, easier for any developer to work with without running into weird old patterns. It's about clearer coding standards, really.
So these deprecations are like essential housekeeping for efficiency and keeping things future-proof. But for those of us running older Drupal sites, does this faster pace of core changes mean more migration headaches? Or more demands on dev teams? It feels like a constant adaptation treadmill sometimes.
It's a valid point, and that constant need to adapt is exactly why resources like the next one mentioned are so crucial. Because data migrations, they are notoriously tough, especially Drupal 7 upgrades. The newsletter points out this fantastic resource, Tag 1 Consulting's Drupal 7 Data Migration Playbook.
A free 31-part guide. Wow, that sounds intense. I've definitely faced some migration nightmares myself. This playbook sounds like it could be a real sanity saver. What kind of gotchas does it help you avoid, the ones people usually stumble over?
It's designed precisely to tackle those common pitfalls. The playbook covers, well, everything. Detailed site audit checklists, pre-configured environments to work in, and crucially, techniques for transforming your content models. That's often the trickiest part. People often underestimate how much work it is to get old content to fit nicely into a new structure. This guide gives you the recipes, the best practices to minimize problems and data loss. It's invaluable for big upgrades.
Good to know. And beyond migration, there's accessibility, always vital. Evolving Web has insights on when accessibility isn't easy, website features that need extra love. It's a good reminder that accessibility isn't just a checkbox, right? It's an ongoing effort.
Exactly right. This article looks at those really tricky areas, places where the standard guidelines might not be enough, or you need more clever solutions. Think complex interactive components, maybe certain types of media, custom widgets. It reminds us that real accessibility is about empathetic design, continuous testing, making sure everyone can use your site effectively, not just ticking boxes.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Looking at the community itself, there's an interesting discussion mentioned, started by Ryan's Drama, about the Drupal community preferring LinkedIn over open protocols like RSS. What does that suggest about how online communities share info now? Is that good or bad for an open source community like Drupal?
That's a really sharp observation, and it touches on broader trends, way beyond just Drupal. On one side, yeah, LinkedIn offers a professional network, easy engagement, maybe wider reach for some people. But on the other side, open things like RSS gave users decentralized control over their information feeds. This shift towards platforms like LinkedIn shows a move towards centralization for convenience, sure. But it does raise questions, doesn't it, about things like algorithmic control, potential censorship, maybe a less open exchange of ideas, which is kind of core to open source. It's definitely a trade-off lots of communities are wrestling with.
Interesting trade-off. Now, for people looking to level up their skills, the newsletter always has good stuff, like #.code covers Drupal 11, object-oriented hooks, and hook service classes. Okay, for listeners maybe not deep into Drupal dev, what's the big takeaway? Why care about object-oriented hooks?
Okay, think of it like this. Imagine moving from, say, tangled spaghetti code, where everything's mixed up, to building with modular Lego bricks. That's kind of what object-oriented approaches do. They make code cleaner, more reusable, much easier to fix if something goes wrong. So for developers, it means building more stable, scalable Drupal sites and modules that are easier to manage and add to later. It's a really important evolution in how Drupal gets built.
Makes sense. And we also see practical guides like Picazzi.com on Drupal plus Mailgun, a simple setup for transactional email. And SmartBees has one on how to configure the robot sticks module in Drupal. Plus, Josh Wami offering taking a tour of the tour module. That sounds useful for people new to the Drupal interface.
Exactly. Mailgun, for those who don't know, just helps reliably send emails from your Drupal site, especially things like order confirmations, password resets, transactional stuff, and the robot's KeyX module. That's key for SEO. It lets you tell search engines like Google which parts of your site to crawl or ignore, fine-tuning your visibility.
The newsletter also links to Talking Drupal, hashtag 514 HTMX. HTMX seems to be getting a lot of buzz lately in front-end circles. Can you give us the quick version? What is it, and why should Drupal devs maybe pay attention?
Sure. HTMX is essentially a lightweight JavaScript library. It lets you add dynamic, interactive features to web pages using just simple HTML attributes, so it can cut down on the complexity you often get with big JavaScript frameworks. For Drupal developers, it offers a way to build modern, dynamic UIs without necessarily needing React or Vue. It can simplify development and often improve performance. It's quite a different approach to building interactive bits on your site.
Interesting. And finally, there's the usual list of recent module releases. Updates like Admin Toolbar 3.6.2, Redis 8.1.10, Tor 2.0.12, lots of others. It really shows how active the ecosystem is, doesn't it? Always something being updated or released.
It really does. And each of these releases, even the small version bumps, they often contain important bug fixes, security patches, maybe performance tweaks. They all add up to making the platform more stable and robust overall. For site owners, that means a safer, smoother website.
Now, if you're looking for support or maybe opportunities in this busy ecosystem, the newsletter points to a few things. Optacy, they're a Drupal Diamond partner and certified migration partner. They offer a free Drupal audit. Why is getting an audit like that important, even if your site seems to be running okay?
Think of a Drupal audit as a sort of health checkup for your website. It's designed to find potential problems before they cause trouble. Security holes, broken modules, performance drags, outdated code, things you might not even notice until it's too late. It's really the first crucial step to make sure you have a stable, secure, up-to-date Drupal site. It can save a lot of pain and money later on.
In the Drupal Association blog, they highlight how you can transform your business by sponsoring a Drupal leader. How does sponsoring a leader actually benefit a business? Seems like just giving money away.
Well, it's more like a strategic investment, really. You're directly supporting key people who contribute massively to Drupal, maybe through code, organizing, documentation. For the business sponsoring them, it means better visibility in the Drupal community. Your brand gets associated with innovation, with supporting open source, and often you might get earlier insights into where Drupal is heading, which can be a competitive advantage. It's a way to give back and gain something tangible.
Right, makes sense. And of course, for job seekers, Drupal Jobs is highlighted. Positions like full stack Drupal engineer at For All Promos, lead Drupal developer at Third and Grove, DevOps full stack developer at Spry Digital. Clearly still a strong demand for Drupal skills out there.
Absolutely. And the variety of roles, full stack, lead dev, DevOps, it shows the breadth of expertise needed and just how healthy the job market is in the Drupal world.
And finally, a nice reminder that if you find the weekly drop useful, they accept donations, Bitcoin or PayPal. Good way to support their work. So there we have it. That was our deep dive into the Weekly Drop issue 694. We've tried to really unpack it from the big architectural shifts with Drupal 2.0 and AI, down to core development updates, those practical migration guides, and all the community resources available for you.
Yeah, this issue really does underscore Drupal's constant evolution. It's very proactive approach to bringing in new tech like AI, but also that strong support system that exists for users. It's a really dynamic ecosystem, always pushing forward but trying to maintain stability too.
What really stands out to you from all this? Maybe it's just the sheer amount of learning resources available, or perhaps that prospect of AI becoming, deeply woven into content management, offering new ways to work.
It makes you think, doesn't it? As you reflect on all this, maybe consider this. How might this deeper integration of AI, the kind signaled by Drupal 2.0, how might that fundamentally change your own approach? Not just the tools you use, but how you even think about creating and managing digital experiences in the next few years.
That is a wrap on today's Drupal Brief. Remember, this was an AI-generated summary, so be sure to check out the original source for the full story and all the details. Before you go, if what you heard today got you excited about trying something new in Drupal, remember that Drupal Forge has you covered. Whether you want to test that new module, demo a concept to your team, or just explore the latest Drupal features, you're literally 5 seconds away from a fully loaded development environment. No downloads, no setup, no hassle. Just pure Drupal innovation at your fingertips. If this episode was helpful, please hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It really helps other Drupal developers discover the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next Drupal Brief.